Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Last time we opened up a box of Commander Legends, and today we're going to be opening up these two new Commander products from Commander Legends. The new, less expensive, about half the price of the previous sets. I picked these two up as a set on Amazon. I believe I paid $21 each and some change. So it was just $43 altogether out the door. And looking forward to cracking these open. Looking forward to basically cannibalizing these for some decks that we already have. We're going to open these up, take a look at number one what they have, but also talk about some of their uses in decks that I have or decks that you might have at home. With that today, let's go ahead and start with Reap the Tides. Let's put Arm for Battle to the side and get to cracking. One thing I do like about this new packaging, it's a little bit smaller, not as obtuse. I'm glad they got rid of the large format commanders because I've never used them. I always end up selling them for 50 cents or whatever each online just because I don't use them. But really nice packaging. I mean, yes, you get less commanders, less foil commanders, but I think it's well worth the difference in price, as you might have seen on Brian's Tolarian Academy, Tolarian Community College page, as he discusses the financial value and if it's worth it to buy these new starters. And I would agree with him. Well, with that, let's crack this open. I'm going to crack this open on the bottom. And doing these videos has given me a big appreciation for those who are who do content, Magic content producers who do weekly shows. And it's just was having some lighting issues earlier, and it's still not what I would like it to be. And voila, it goes bye-bye. So with that, here's the insides. Man, this certainly have done well on the packing. So here's the deck. Now the tricky part's always getting these commanders out without damaging them. Pick that up later. See if there's anything else. Nada. So here is the commander. Let me get nice. Come on, camera, focus, please. Esai, Tyrant of Gyre Strait. You can play an additional land on each of your turns. Sorry, that's... For some reason, the foiling is making the camera not want to focus. You may play an additional land on each of your turns, and whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, you may draw a card. This is going to be immediately put into my landfall deck with the new Omnath. There's Commander for this one and some of the extra paper products that they give us. Make sure that's empty. What have we got here? We have our information booklet. Learn to play Commander. Yeah, throw that. We've got our spin down life counter. Got a bunch of these. If anybody wants some of these, just let me know. I've got a handful of these that are sitting in a box somewhere. And the only thing I do not like about this new packaging is, see the bottom there? That's a great way to get your cards ripped up. Even if you can somehow flatten it. And I don't want to be using tape down there and get some of the stickiness from the tape on my cards. But you see, even when it's basically as fat as it can be, all those sharp edges on the bottom of your cards. I liked the old, especially the Commander 2016 and some of the other older Commander products had boxes that were solid on all sides, or had a lid that was like this that was solid, that was not going to scratch up the cards, because I love using these commander boxes to hold decks in progress. One of these days I'll take a tour of my collection. These commander boxes are perfect for putting a working project. Like right now I've got a Prosh deck that's in the works. And so I stick it in a box, grab my label maker and put a label on the top. And so when I come across a card that I want to go in the deck, boom, I look in my collection, the different card boxes, and go, okay, there's Prosh. These 5 cards need to go into Prosh. I'll finish sorting it later. But all in all, I like the printing. I like the colors. Good design. I just wish this bottom, instead of a cardboard folding, would be like the lid. Put that off to the side. And here's the wrapped up deck. 100 card, fully. What I really like about these new products is that they're inexpensive and a great way for new players to get into Commander. Someone who's, let's say, pre-COVID was playing at their local store and playing Standard or Modern or Legacy. Hey, go use some of the cards you have. Go grab this $20-some-odd Commander package, and it'll be a good start for them. But with that, let's crack this open. I also like the fact they have the pull string tabs. I remember a lot of the older products when I had started what used to be called starter decks in the mid to late 90s. Also, most of them had those pull tabs, except for Ice Age. A lot of the Ice Age I had gotten, and some of the other products didn't have that tab. So let's start looking and seeing what we get here. So we got an Arcane Denial, Compulsive Research, Counterspell. It's nice that they include a good old counterspell in these decks. Fact or Fiction, with Jace there on the card. Into the Royal, Our Run Expedition, Muldrifter, Peel from Reality. Slyn Vada is another legend. It's in my daughter's Kraken deck. Kraken, Leviathans, basically big sea monsters. We've got an Acidic Slime in green. Beast Within, great removal, especially in green. We've got Cultivate. Wow, an Eternal Witness. That's a hit in my opinion. In the deck, we've got an Explorer, a Harmonize, Kalani Heart Expedition, Kodama's Reach, Rampant Growth, Reclamation Sage, Retreat to Kazandu. It's good that they're reprinting these retreats. They've never been super expensive, but it's good to have them, especially now that landfall matters. Search for Tomorrow, Spore Mound, Workerbo Elder, and Yamavaya Elder. A lot of great, continuing these great entry-level blue and green, and all the colors in these decks have had great staples. They can obviously be upgraded later with other cards, but it's great to give ramp packages such as Yamavaya Elder and Kodama's Reach and Cultivate to newer players that may not have the card base to just go back in their bulk commons and pull these out. We got Coiling Oracle, Growth Spiral, Sharktocrab, Simic Charm, Urban Evolution. We've got a Trench Behemoth that's going in my daughter's deck. We got a Stump Squall Hydra. That is going to be going into my Hydra Tribal deck. Elder Deep Fiend, Eldrazi Octopus, Moloku got another legendary. Got an Izal. Scourge of the Fleets. Shipbreaker Kraken. Speaks of Uthin. Stormtide Leviathan. Trauma Crisis. Whelming Wave. This is what's great about this. Got me halfway thinking of building the Kraken deck for my daughter. It was a Whelming Wave, depending on the construction of your deck, especially if it's tribal, is a great way to have a 4-mana evacuation that leaves your stuff. It's basically a 4-mana evacuation for everything but your creatures. That's great. Avenger of Zendikar. I'm glad they reprinted it. That is going in my landfall deck because for some reason I can't find my Avenger of Zendikar. Don't ask me why. Oh, Molimo, Morrow Sorcerer. Another great addition. Rampaging Balos. Another green staple, especially for landfall. Come on, camera, focus. Ramunap Excavator, also going in my landfall deck. Terastodon. Another good removal on a stick. Verdant Sun's Avatar. Got a Fathom Mage. Murkfiend Liege. This is an underrated card in my opinion because of that last ability. It's not so much the Lord abilities we see on there for green and blue creatures, but it's untap all green and or blue creatures you control during each other player's untap step. Now, if you've got mana dorks, if you've got, let's say you want to Alpha Strike, and yet you can rely on Murkfiend Liege to untap it so that you've got blockers, or to set up some type of a combo. Murkfiend Liege, in my opinion, has been overlooked in certain decks or archetypes as a less expensive price-wise version of either the multicolored untapper that has been banned or the green untapper that is getting price prohibitive, especially for many of those there in our Magic community need a budget alternative to these staples. Simic Skyswaller. Splitting Image. Seer Sundial, great landfall card. Meteor Golem. I'm glad that also with these Commander products, they're reprinting the signets, bringing the price down, especially now that they're being printed at common. Sol Ring, of course, Swiftfoot Boots, and now for some of the lands. Blighted Woodland, excellent search. Command Tower, which by the time all these Commander products come out, especially Commander Legends, the last I looked, Command Tower was about $1. And yet, if you just go back 5 years ago, let's go back 5 years ago, Command Tower was quite a bit more expensive and harder to come by, except for in the Commander products. But now that they've made these reprints more abundant, it's nice to have. Coral Atoll, Evolving Wilds, Jungle Basin. We've got our bounce lands going on here. Memorial to Genius. Reliquary Tower. Simic Growth Chamber. Simic Guildgate. Terramorphic Expanse. Thornwind Falls. Vivid Creek. Vivid Grove. Woodland Stream. Got a collection of basic forests here. And islands. Let's take a look at these tokens. Got some beast tokens, illusion, and copies. Let's look at the other side. We got some saprolings, plant, beast, and elephant tokens. With that, all in all, would I say that you got some value in here? Well, yeah. First off, you have a new commander to build around. And if you're anything like me, I've got 20 some odd commander decks. I'm not like anything like Cure for the common game with, over 600. But it's always nice to have a new commander to build around, something to add to one that you already have. I would say just for the fact of having these reprints, not expensive reprints, but stuff like Murkfiend Liege and getting more Swiftfoot boots out there so that people can get access to them. Taking a look at some of the. None of these Krakens or Leviathans are really worth a whole lot, but it's good to be able to have the reprints for those making a tribal Kraken deck. And then to have things like Ramunap Excavator. To my knowledge, I think this is the first reprinting for him. To reprint things like Avenger of Zendikar. And especially something like Eternal Witness. I remember for the longest time, Eternal Witness was hovering around the $5 mark, which for a lot of Commander players that I know put Eternal Witness out of their budget just to throw in every deck that they wanted it. We live in a day and age in which a lot of Commander players have a lot of different budgetary restrictions. Either they have one deck in which they pour their extra funds into, or if they have multiple decks, then they have to be more budget conscious about what's included and where they spend their money. It's good also to see some of these elder dinosaurs getting reprinted. The big fat fatties, as we used to say, the big splashy spells for newer players to enjoy what it feels like of plopping down something like this and going, I'm going to turn this sideways and smack face. But with that, that was the Reap the Tides Commander 2020 or Commander Legends pre-constructed deck. I would say it's a good value. Pick one up, even if it's just for some of the parts. Or even if it's just to, like I've been doing with my daughter, buying these products so that she can have an opportunity to build decks herself without digging into Dad's collection too much. And for $20, even if you save it up or you do what I do sometimes is sell cards that you're not currently using or have gone up in value in order to purchase new parts for your decks. And mainly, to be honest, I got it for this guy to put in my landfall deck. With that, I will see you guys next time as we look at Armed for Battle, the Boros equipment deck from Commander Legends. See y'all next time.